Hello, welcome to Blender Leg and Foot Rigging 4. In this video we're going to finish up the main foot control by adding an action constraint to the scale value of the foot control. Because of this, parenting won't work to control the foot because the scale would also be inherited. So instead we're going to add a position and rotation constraint. Select the foot bone and go to Add Constraint and up to Copy Rotation. And this is going to copy the rotation value, and the target object is going to be the control object, so capital Control underscore foot. Okay, and that will bring up the sub-object that we have to control with, and there's only one bone in the foot control object, and that's main. So we'll type main. Okay, and now we'll go to the next and copy location. And this will finish it up, and we're going to do the same thing here. Control foot and the main bone in that. Alright, so now we have the position and rotation constraint, which has it pretty much where it would be if we parented, except it doesn't inherit the scale. Now let's add an action constraint, and this is the cool part. So right here is where we add the action, so foot roll, and we want it to scale on the Y value, so size Y. Okay. And the target again is still that same foot control. We're moving the foot object by the action of the target. So foot control main. So when we scale main, now the foot control will move. And the start corresponds to the min value, the end corresponds to the max value. We're starting at frame 1 and going to frame 10 because this is rolling back on the heel. That's the only bone this part of this bone controls. And we're going to scale it down to get all the way back, and at 1 is the default rest pose. So if we scale it back, we can see it works correctly. And scaling up currently doesn't do anything. But we have 2 more bones that we have to add constraints to. Okay, so now let's go over back to add constraints. And we're going to add another action constraint. Okay, and again, the control object is what's controlling it. Main action is foot roll and size Y for what track we're controlling it from. And we're going 10 to frame 30, which 30 is the last frame. And 40, I'll correct that later. And this is going from minimum scale of 1 to 1.5. And the next bone, action, and we're going to do the foot roll. Okay, size Y. Object again is the control object, so and frame 10 to 30. And this is still the same as well, scale 1 to 1.5. So the scale value of 1 is going to be at the start rest pose at frame 10. And this, when the scale is 1.5, we're going to have the end pose, which would be 30. And actually, let's correct that real quick. Okay, so we have the full animation now. So let's do one last thing and do a limit scale. And make sure you click the min and max Y and the values, 0.5 and 1.5. And this will make it so the bone won't be able to be scaled too far out of bounds, which will make it easier for the animator to keep track of it. And there you have it, a foot roll. So now the foot is pretty much done. All we're going to need is a toe control and the knee control. Let me show you kind of it in action. So here you can kind of do a heel plant. And if we move it over here, we can kind of roll onto the toes and do the launching pose. So maybe this is, taking a step for running or something. So, all right, and that's it. Thanks for watching.